Hi, artist. Miss Flashier here. We are on to week 8. Um, this week, we're going to look at an artist named Paul Cezanne. Um, and specifically, we're going to look at his paintings that are called still lifes. A still life is a painting of objects that do not move. So things like plates and bowls and fruit, knives, flowers. They often use cloth. You'll see in some of his paintings that he uses fabric or cloth to drape on the table. Sometimes it looks like a tablecloth. Um, and so you're probably like, why are these artists painting stuff that doesn't move? It's really boring. I don't understand. So if we go back to Georgia O'Keeffe, the lady that painted the really big flowers, we're going to talk about observation again. So artists make still lifes so that they can observe objects and get better. Because the more you practice painting and drawing and any kind of art, the better you get. So a lot of times artists would just paint the same things over and over again, kind of like Georgia O'Keeffe did, so that they learn about it, they learn about shapes, and they develop their own style. That means their own way of making art. They come up with this look that all their paintings kind of have a look to them, or all their sculptures have a look to them. That's called a style. And most famous artists have a style. Georgia O'Keeffe's style was to paint flowers very big. Um, or one of her styles. So Cezanne painted a bunch of different things, but we're just going to focus on his still lifes. A little bit about him. Cezanne always wanted to be an artist, and his dad did not want him to. His dad wanted him to become a lawyer. So Cezanne tried. He went to school to become a lawyer, and he tried to work with his father, and it did not. It just didn't. It wasn't what he wanted to do. So he went and started to study in art schools, and he went to Paris, and he met a whole bunch of other famous artists there. And remember the museum we talked about, the Louvre? He would go and visit the Louvre and get inspiration from the paintings at the Louvre. Um, he also, so he met all these other famous artists too, but he really didn't fit in, and he didn't feel like he was part of the Paris art community. So he ended up moving back. He kind of went back and forth, but he moved back to his hometown in the country and started to paint there. And he would spend a lot of time alone painting. So let's go through some of these slides and I will show you. So this is a still life by Paul Cezanne. And you can see it has a basket, a bottle. Here's the fabric I was talking about. Fabric is very hard to draw because of the wrinkles and the shadows in it. And it's a big challenge for artists to work with. So this is why they try to do this. He also has the table that the stuff is sitting on, and you will see in my demonstration that that's an important thing to do. Also, the shadows here, because if we don't use shadows, things look like they are floating. So here's a plant and a couple pears and a plate. The, the most important thing about Cezanne is that he looks at objects like shapes. So here's part of a triangle here, if you can see that right here. Um, the pear usually has like a circle shape here and then a mountain on top of it. So he reduces or he looks at objects simply, so he just sees the shapes. It makes it a lot easier to draw that way, and that is what I'm hoping you will try to do when you start. So here's the fruit with the round shapes again, the straight rectangular or square lines at the table. Again, the fabric. Um, so they would take things that they found around their house and put them in these displays and use them to paint. Sometimes artists would put all different kinds of stuff in still lifes, not just food and um, Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so looks like he's about to eat these apples and have a glass of something with it. Here's the knife that he's going to cut it with. And again, if you look, here's the oval shape of the inside of the glass, and this is almost half an oval here. And then you have your circles here. So the other thing I want you to look at Cezanne's paintings is that, see these outlines here? He kind of really goes back into his objects and outlines them. He does it when he paints landscapes or houses. He does it when he paints trees. He does it when he paints still lifes. This is part of his style, or the way that he paints, that separates him from other artists. So this is something that we are going to do, or you are going to try and do when you make your still life. So you can do up close, you can do far away. I'm only asking you to draw one or two objects, because this is not an easy thing to do. But I know you can, because you've done an excellent job already so far doing everything that I've challenged you with. Okay, so here is a video about him. It kind of talks about him setting up his still life before he starts painting, and talks a little bit more about him and his life. Here is the video of what to draw, or my demonstration of how to make a still life like Cezanne. So when I say like Cezanne, or in Cezanne's style, that means that we're almost copying him, and that's okay to do as an artist, because that's how you learn. So the more you copy people, the better you get, just like practicing. And then here is just a fun little story. Read along if you want to watch it. Okay, so try your best, take your pictures, show me, Zoom me if you have any questions or if you're confused. And I hope you have fun making a still life. Okay, take care. Bye.